everybody is working on this right now. That's what a senior learning manager told me at a Fortune 100 company, and she sits on focus groups with learning leaders across the industry. But scroll on LinkedIn and you'll see another story. AI is killing e-learning authoring tools. Storyline and Rise are dead, and you should panic. Both of these things can't be true. Let me show you which one is. So there's been a narrative going around that's got people feeling excited and afraid. So you might have heard it. E-learning authoring tools are dying. AI replaces your tool chain, and just build your tools yourself from scratch. Now, this narrative is mostly coming from LinkedIn influencers chasing engagement, but my perspective is a little bit different. So here's where I'm coming from. I've spent more than 2 years integrating AI into Storyline 360 experiences and teaching people how to do the same. I've spent more than 8 months now developing internal AI systems to support and automate my businesses. And I'm building Devlin AI, which is a tool that lets learners practice real conversations with AI characters, and it gets integrated into Storyline. So I've built production software for my own business. I've built production software that's getting rolled out at real companies and going to real learners right now. And I've done all of this with Claude Code, which is what we're going to get into in a little bit, some of these new tools. So yeah, I have a lot of experience developing software lately and integrating AI. And as part of this Devlin AI project, I am in weekly conversations with enterprise L&D teams about rolling this out to their orgs, or just hearing about what their orgs are currently doing and where it's going well and where it might be falling short. So I'm going to share some of that perspective in this video. So a lot of this hype is around this new tool called Claude Design. So it's a conversational interface for generating front-end code, which is HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And it's a friendlier interface and narrower scope than Claude Code, if you've heard of that. So here is Claude Design. I'll try to zoom in a little bit, but you can see the chat interface is over here. Literally, this is all I gave it. I said, generate a scenario-based interaction where the user, an instructional designer, needs to practice asking the right questions to a SME. It asks some clarifying questions right here, and I clarify them, and then it works for a few minutes and generates what you see right here on the right. So it says, practice your first call with a subject matter expert. It's a working user interface, so I can click this button to start the call. And now I can, sorry, I zoomed in again. Now we can see this character is saying something to us, and we can pick an option. So it can generate this branching scenario in literally a matter of minutes. It gives us some context over here that we can use. There's also some light gamification, right? If we click on this option, we have some more rapport, we have some more information gathered, right? We can click through it. It's literally a full branching scenario built in the browser in 3 minutes, and I literally gave it 1 sentence. So it's a very impressive tool, right? The hype is understandable. Now, again, it's a different scope than Claude Code, which you might have heard me talk about on the channel here. Claude Code's been out since early last year. I'll show you what that looks like. This is Claude Code. So not the pretty user interface that we just saw, right? We have actual files on our computer we're working with. We can look at those files. Here's where we actually interact with the AI right here. So yeah, different interface. This is much more user-friendly, but less powerful, I would say, right? It's powerful with the visual piece. We can do that with Claude Code, but Claude Code can work on back-end databases, edit files on your computer, so on and so forth. So Claude Design is great for building prototypes, user interfaces, and quick demos. With enough time and effort, you could refine this and get it to a point where you can host it somewhere. And for enterprise plans, though, it ships off by default, so opt-in is required. So that gives me some insight into Anthropic's thinking, saying we want orgs to control whether or not they're going to take the risk on letting their teams use this. They know that enterprise procurement is going to have something to say about Claude Design. It's going to want to take a closer look at it before it gets rolled out at the enterprise level. So here's where Claude Design breaks down, right? You can demo it. It looks amazing. Developers, or if you're a little tech savvy, you can probably get it into an LMS with a SCORM wrapper. That's not the most difficult thing to do. It might be hard to get actual score data out of it unless you are more developer savvy. But once it's in the LMS, it can be brutal to maintain it, right? Handing a project like this off to a team, fixing bugs at scale, dealing with unforeseen issues for learners. You're going to have to go back into a tool like this, re-export the code, And again, it's a very new workflow. Right now, it is an experimental tool. So I think it's good for showing us where authoring tools might be headed, but this isn't something that's killing authoring tools overnight, right? It's not about what we can build. It's about what an organization can actually rely on. And you can imagine a tool like Storyline that's been getting iterated on over decades, specifically for enterprise learning needs. That's going to feel a lot safer for orgs than an experimental new tool like this. So here's the gap we're missing, right? There's this creation piece, which is really exciting to see what Claude Design can do here. So we can create user interfaces, e-learning screens, interactivity, and we can show people here's what this would look like, but the systems are where this falls apart, right? Infrastructure to bring these learning experiences live, security and compliance to make sure that it actually can get rolled out. It can pass IT muster and procurement, data and tracking, right? So there's obviously not a SCORM export here in Claude Design, and I don't think that's going to be coming anytime soon. So, it's a little trickier to get it into an LMS. Your team needs to be a bit more tech savvy if they're going to collaborate using a tool like this, or I should say a lot more tech savvy. And then maintenance as well, right? So people know Storyline, right? There's enterprise teams where hundreds of people are using Storyline. It's going to be a lot harder to have one ID working in a tool like this. They can't really hand it off to their colleagues. So over here is what AI is making really exciting. The systems over here, this is what authoring tools have spent decades refining and perfecting. So the enterprise reality is that many orgs can't even use Claude yet. So I've talked to 5 Fortune 100 teams in the past month. 0 are approved to use Claude so far. I've talked to a couple of dozen smaller learning teams and organizations. Maybe of 25 teams I've talked to, 2 or 3 are approved to use Claude already. So this isn't something orgs can just ship tomorrow. This can take months or years, right? IT and procurement takes a long time. I'm learning this, right? Trying to ship enterprise software. There's a lot of steps in the process. It can take months or even over a year. And existing tool chains are very deeply embedded. I'm going to share some more examples later, but no one I'm talking to is moving away from Storyline, and the startups who I'm talking to who are growing quickly, if they don't have Storyline already, they're planning on getting Storyline. So this isn't a monumental overnight shift where e-learning tools are dying. And I want to share a little history lesson for anyone who might be newer to the field. So a specification called xAPI launched in 2013. This is a spec to make it easier to collect and store learning data, to make it a bit more actionable. Very promising. It's a great spec. And then, the espousals of SCORM is dead were everywhere. On every L&D blog, every YouTube video about SCORM or xAPI. And I got into the field in 2017, and I was feeling the same way. I was like, why would we use this SCORM technology that can only tell us information about like score and completion, essentially, and pass-fail, when we can use xAPI to get such granular data? This is amazing. I was doing technical tutorials for instructional designers for years. I thought that's where the industry was headed. We're in 2026. At least 90% of L&D teams, probably more, still ship SCORM. So SCORM was not dead. SCORM is more alive now than it ever was. And the interesting part is that I spent years as a freelancer adding xAPI tracking inside of SCORM courses. So clients were still publishing SCORM, but I was using xAPI inside of that to pull out some additional valuable data. So this pattern I've been seeing, the pattern I'm seeing now, was already there all the way back in 2018. So here's the pattern. The old systems persist in our industry and new capabilities get layered on top. In my opinion, integrating well is where the opportunity lies. So we want to integrate the new tech into the existing tech to add the most value as an industry. But yeah, what is it that we're actually trying to integrate? Right? Here's the shift I'm seeing. We're going from content to practice. Right? As always, as instructional designers, we want to help people actually do things better so they can make an impact at their organization and produce real results. Now, since I've been in this industry, right, info dumps have been a big issue. Now, AI makes that practice component so much more powerful, so much more engaging. I'm going to get into it in a little bit. So here's the missed opportunity, right? There obviously is incredible opportunity with these AI tools, but everyone is looking in the wrong place. We're trying to rebuild authoring tools with AI. We're trying to save a few $100s a year by doing it ourselves, and we're recreating old experiences faster. right? That's not super exciting. We're doing the same old stuff. This is not the win. And I want to add a note here for aspiring instructional designers too who might be newer. You can use Claude Design to build impressive demos, don't get me wrong, but hiring managers are going to expect you to know storyline. Nobody is replacing their learning tech stack with Claude Design overnight, right? They're going to want to make sure you can use the tools of the trade. So save $1,500 on authoring tools might look good on LinkedIn and sound nice if you're trying to learn these tools to get into the field, but it's not going to actually help you get hired if you don't know the industry standard tools. Okay, so here is the actual opportunity as I see it. AI unlocks new categories of learning experiences. It doesn't just help us do what we're already doing faster. So we can let people have conversations with AI-powered characters or coaches instead of having them click through slides. They can practice making decisions in much more realistic scenarios now. We don't have to rely on letting them click multiple choice buttons. They can talk either verbally or by typing to an AI-powered, and in an AI-powered environment, to an AI-powered simulation. And that's a completely dynamic experience that's guided only by the prompt that you gave the AI. And then finally, we can give our learners truly personalized feedback based on their performance. So not just here's the feedback you get based off the branch you went down, but here is beat by beat performance on exactly how you did in this AI-powered practice simulation. So this level of fidelity was not possible before at scale, right? We had multiple choice questions. And if you wanted people to have this personalized feedback or to practice having conversations, you have to rely on people to do it. Right? So we couldn't just say, hey, let's roll out these one-on-one practice conversations to 50,000 learners unless you had a whole lot of coaches or trained coaches to conduct that role play. We can do that now at scale, minimally, right? You develop it once, you can roll it out to 50,000 people, no extra work on your end as long as you develop it right. So that's the real opportunity as I see it. And if we follow this forward, right? If we follow this through to the end, content becomes the baseline, right? It gives people enough to get going. Interaction becomes expected, and practice becomes the core experience. Practice opportunities are where our industry has the most potential to make an impact on the bottom line and on human performance, especially with AI. It is a massive opportunity right now. So that's what I've went all in on, right? I've been building towards this with Devlin AI. It lets instructional designers add AI practice inside of existing e-learning courses, and it lets people have real conversations instead of static slides, right? You might have seen this before. This is this retiring subject matter expert demo. So we can start it up here, and we have this AI-powered widget right here in the course. So this SME says, they've got me doing a knowledge transfer thing. What are you planning to build? We'll build an e-learning course, right? We're going to build an info dump. Let's see how excited the SME gets about this. He's typing. Okay, and he groans. So this is what I mean, right? This experience is built in Storyline. We can add the AI practice layer on top of it, and you can see how much more dynamic and engaging this would be, and they can get, again, personalized feedback at the end, as opposed to just clicking some buttons, right? This is way more closely related to what people will actually be doing on the job. And of course, voice mode is coming soon. Than clicking multiple choice questions. And you can imagine the impact that would have on readiness for employees. So that's what I'm thinking about when I'm thinking about what AI is doing to our industry. It's not just let's just create the same deliverables quicker or cheaper. It's let's create this new category of learning experiences that can actually help people do their jobs significantly better more quickly. We want to help people get to readiness more quickly, not just churn out deliverables more quickly. So, and then of course, feedback and coaching are built into this tool as well. So rather than replacing the authoring tools entirely, I'm extending what already exists because I want to get this rolled out, right? I'm not going to ask someone, hey, replace your authoring tool with this one I hobbled together. I'm going to say, hey, I optimized this practice layer. Let's add this into your existing tool set so we can actually get this in the hands of real designers who can make an impact for their actual learners. And this isn't hypothetical here, okay? Devlin AI is just one example of this broader trend. So, like I said, I've spoken to 5 Fortune 100 companies in the past month about this tool, about how they're approaching AI-powered simulations right now. One of them already has this working, right? They've been ahead of the curve. They've been working on this for over a year, and there's a full simulation layer for their employees to practice these soft skills before they go on the job and do it, right? Fully conversational, all AI-powered. 2 of them are mid-build. They've been working on this for months up to a year, and Yeah, they're in the middle of it. They also are integrating it into Storyline. So everyone here, it's Storyline integration. Okay, they're not building it from scratch, right? Even if they are building it with external tools, which they are, they're going through extra work to get it into Storyline. So we're not replacing the stack here. And then 2 are actively scoping it. So 2 of them have been researching it for months, have been looking at their different options to do it, and they're very excited about, again, the direction we're taking with Devlin AI, the fact that we're making this easier for teams to implement. So what does this mean for you as an instructional designer, right? The worst thing that you can do is panic pivot, right? The worst thing you do is say, Claude Design's coming from my job. It's making the tools of the trade irrelevant. That is definitely not what's going on here. The second worst thing you can do, though, is to ignore AI completely. Again, even though Claude Design isn't replacing ID tools overnight, it is showing this broader industry trend towards these conversational interfaces, right? It's a lot more natural. It's a lot easier to work that way. And Articulate is shipping AI features every month. They're leaning deeper into this direction as well. So get comfortable working with AI. We don't want to, shy away from it. It is coming. It is changing our industry. But the best move is to extend your tool set instead of replacing it. That's what I'm leaning into. That's what I'm teaching people how to do. That's where I think the biggest opportunity lies. So in summary, the hype is real, right? These tools are incredible. Again, this is Claude Design. I've been working in Claude Code for coming up on a year now, and it's been like magic. It's really incredible. But the timeline for actual industry adoption is a lot slower than you might expect, especially in L&D. And then I think the opportunity is way bigger than people think. Again, I've been seeing the hype around building slide-based e-learning, Rise-style courses, the same authoring tools we already have. Right? The opportunity is so much bigger than that. Authoring tools are not dying, but they're becoming containers for something way more powerful that is going to let us as instructional designers add way more value to the organizations we work for. So next steps, if you want to see it in action, go to devlin.ai. So you can see AI-powered practice that you can already integrate into Storyline. And please drop a comment letting us know your org stance on AI tools right now. So where are you at, right? Is it a blanket ban, or do you already have certain models approved? Are you actively working on it? Let us know. So thank you for making it to the end of this video. If it's been helpful for you, please subscribe. I have a lot more AI content coming your way, and I will see you in the next video.